morning, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Wilner No at your service. Today I wanted to send happy recovery to the President of the United States and his wife. I know we all know that President Trump left the hospital and is now recovering at the White House, even though most people think it's too early, including the doctors. But I don't think President Trump had a choice. And President Trump, I'm sure if you're watching, I understand your situation, because if I make my wife sick, she probably would drive me so crazy. I probably wouldn't want to stay in the hospital. I probably want to go home as fast as I can. Because I know she said she didn't want to come see you at the hospital because she didn't want to get the Secret Service people sick. Which I think probably that's a smart thing, because these people, the Secret Service are there to help the president. And the First Lady said she didn't want to go see her husband because she didn't want to make them sick, because she would have to be in the car with them, and she's infected, and she would put them in jeopardy. And I think that was smart and reasonable thing to do. Whereas with President Trump, I think he was very negligent, because the idea that he would take a joyride around the hospital to say hi to a few supporters who were standing there by the hospital in a car that is this limousine that the president was in is hermetically, it's like it's airtight, and it's not a it's not a van. It was a SUV. So there's no distancing. And he had people sitting next to him, in front of him. Okay? And these people, they were breathing the air. Because according to what I know, the limousine that the president was in, that SUV, even if there was chemical attack, this thing is able to create its own oxygen. So that means, okay, if somebody is infected like the president is, and sitting in there with the president, their life was in jeopardy. And I think the First Lady was really trying to send a message telling people that, okay, I'm not like him. Okay, he's selfish, but I'm not. Okay? And I'm sure the people don't read things like that. But when the president's wife, after the president went for a joyride in the limo, putting the life of these Secret Service, and those are people you depend on. That means, and we don't know how many of them right now is infected. And you could see why the White House is so leaky. Because you're going to tell me these guys supposed to to give the president security, and the president don't care about their life. So those people, you think they're going to be a great friend of the president? This is why this president is dangerous. The man, he's not even, okay, even in this message the First Lady sent, that's heavy. And most people, it's like people are not paying attention to things like that. I am. And I wouldn't be surprised if she probably told him to stay in the hospital. Don't come to the White House. Okay, you already gave me this thing. Don't, because think about it. If you give your wife a communicable disease, how she would react, what she would do to you. And the question is, when did the president know that he was infected?
Governor, you were part of the debate prep. What can you tell us about the bubble? Were folks wearing masks? Were you wearing a mask? Was Rudy Giuliani wearing a mask when you were working with the president and others in the room?
No one was wearing masks in the room. when we were prepping the president during that period of time. The group was about 5 or 6 people in total.
And I think the president, I think before the 26th, the president was already infected. This is my own observation. Okay? And this whole thing in the White House on the 26th, for the new Supreme Court judge, I think a lot of people catch this virus from this. Okay? And a lot of them already. And I think the president, and I think OPEC is the fall guy. She probably agreed to say, okay, I'm the one who got it first. But remember, when we find out that OPEC was infected, the White House had to come out later because it was a leak. Now, who could have leaked something like that from inside the White House? Okay, I'm not going to accuse the Secret Service, but at the same time, I know a lot of them are not too happy with this president. Okay, somebody leaked it, and as soon as that was out, then the president come out and say he did. He's also infected, and the first lady was infected. So those people, that day when the president went to the debate, the president was already infected. And I show a video when I said that the first lady came on stage. Okay, she only put her hand on his suit, and she didn't come close. She didn't give him a kiss. She knew about it. This is a person next to somebody that they both know that he was already infected. And this is my observation. Okay, like I said, this is an open exchange of ideas and of opinion. Okay, I'm sure when I put this video on Facebook and on YouTube, I would like to hear your opinion. Because my opinion is this: the president was already infected. And the president is a liar, and he lies so much to the American people. Then he went to the hospital and turned the doctors into liars. The doctors had to come out and lie about it, what medication he took. Okay, the guy is on steroid, and let me tell you something. You remember Herman Cain? I don't want to go all over the place with you, but okay, I'm going to try not to. But Herman Cain was a millionaire. Big supporter of Trump. Okay, he went into one of those Trump rally and he caught this thing. And he died 28 days later. The president, 28 days later, like it's almost like 3 weeks later. Okay, but the president is telling you right now he's an authority about the virus because I had, and then he's gonna use it. He's gonna say if Biden had this virus, he would have been dead already. Don't be surprised. He would say exactly what I just said here. Because me, I'm built like but the virus is like, listen, look at the word karma in the dictionary. And you could see what is going on here. And this is what's being played. It's almost like supernatural. Those things that are happening. Okay, starting with the Supreme Court, Ginsburg, she died. And she hated Trump. She attacked him to the point where she had to apologize. Okay, 10 minutes after it was announced that she's dead, Trump and the Republicans were already out there trying to find a replacement because the Obamacare case is about to come in front of the Supreme Court next week or in the next few weeks. So they wanted to put somebody so fast. And it's almost like, I'm not a superstitious person, and I don't believe in life after death. I never use the word rest in peace, because I figure that once somebody is dead, it's over. But for those of you, and for all the people who think that people who are dead have some kind of power, it's almost look like it's real. Because it's almost like you could say that she is fighting this. In COVID is another one who's trying to say, listen, you're not the boss, I am. And guess what? How many of those senators who were supposed to vote for the Supreme Court's justice, this new one who's supposed to eliminate Obamacare, who are now infected with COVID?
For 2 weeks after 3 Republican senators tested positive for coronavirus in just the past 48 hours. But tonight, he's still pledging to move full speed ahead to confirm Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. Here's CBS's Nancy Cordes.
Senator Mike Lee seemed fine on Wednesday, but by Thursday, he had symptoms. That's the same day he sat next to Wisconsin's Ron Johnson, who has now tested positive too. So has North Carolina's Tom Tillis, who, like Lee, was in the Rose Garden last Saturday and sits on the committee that will handle Judge Amy Coney Barrett's Supreme Court confirmation process. With the men now in isolation, there are new questions about Barrett's path to confirmation, which Republicans were hoping to complete with historic speed. Today, Democrats called it reckless to hold Barrett's confirmation hearing as scheduled in 9 days, arguing if it's too dangerous to have the Senate in session, it is also too dangerous for committee hearings to continue. But Republicans who see a chance to move the court to the right insist the committee can take precautions, with some senators appearing remotely if needed.
We just need to keep pushing ahead. We don't need to slow things down, and the judiciary will do their job starting on the 12th.
Democrats acknowledge there's likely little they can do to block Barrett's hearing, but a final vote in the full Senate would likely fail if 2 or more Republicans were still out sick.
How many people who was at this thing and they give us a list of people that are infected. The notion that somebody gonna tell me Mr. Barr is not infected, I don't believe it. I think Barr is infected. And if Barr is listening, listen, if you're not infected, show us the result of your tests. Because Joe Biden is showing his. Any of you guys, and I think a lot of those people never really get tested. They just be telling you, oh, I was tested yesterday. Easy for them to say. Because you know everybody around Trump are a bunch of liars. Donald, I want to come close. You are a liar. You turn people around you to liars. And those doctors, now you turn them into liars. Now they're going to go, now you're no longer in the hospital. And their colleagues and everybody going to be looking at them, their family. And they're going to say, why you lie? I had to do it for the president because he asked me to lie. Okay? And you changed their life forever. I wouldn't lie. I'm going to tell it the way I see it. Okay? I'm giving you my opinion. Okay? Trump, in my opinion, had this virus even when he was in there training, taking the training from Governor Christie. Governor Christie. And he the one, he's pissed. And I know his wife is. And his kids. And everybody who catch this virus, believe me, Donald, they are not going to vote for you. So do their mother, their father, their kids, their friends in school. So the notion that people think Biden is ahead 51% and 57% and Donald got 41%. Listen, it's not true. Because everybody who, and there's a list, there's more people who got infected on that day that we don't know about. And then and it's like Dano is telling them, but right now Dano is even telling people the tracing. They don't even want the FD. He don't want them to trace anybody. So he's like, you cannot put COVID under a rug. And that's exactly what you try to do. And that's exactly how you end up getting the virus. COVID is not about to go under no rug, Donald. It's not happening. COVID love attention just like you. Okay? He want to show his power just like you. Just like you did the other day when you came out of the hospital and you standing there like Mussolini or Hitler. And this wasn't Donald Trump. When Trump left the hospital, okay, Marine 1 became COVID 1. And when he got up there, standing there, going up the steps and standing in that balcony, removing the mask, that was COVID. Because his mind, and you could see him breathing. You see how he was trying to breathe? And he had to remove that mask because he can't breathe. He's not breathing too well. I'm gonna show you some close up of it. He is not breathing too well, and Donald is not well, and this power is driving him crazy. Now he got COVID because COVID, the medication, the steroid, and all of them, those things. These are doctors. I'm gonna let you hear what doctors have to say about what these medication do to you. And even the one that he was pushing, believe me, that was COVID. And Trump is standing up there and he's looking, there's nobody there but a helicopter and a few people. But in his mind, he's looking at a big crowd. He's looking at so many people. And the photographer, that means you see where he was standing there and he removed the mask. Anybody who walked in that space after him without a mask, that's it. You got it. Because it's in the air. And even if you walk there 20 minutes after the president left the balcony, you still could catch it. Because Donald is not well yet. It's going to take at least 2-3 months for us to really know. And even after that, his mind, which was already Kray-kray, because this is President Kray-kray over here. So right now, he's Kray-kray. After all this medication that he's been taking in the hospital. Okay? The only thing I'm hoping that he don't start a war with somebody. He don't start a fight with the Ayatollahs. Or he don't start over there in Iran to impress Bibi over there in Israel. Or he don't start something with the guy in Venezuela, because he probably could see a weak spot somewhere. Because right now, this man, he don't want to leave the White House. And you see that even though he was sick, he was supposed to turn over power to the vice president. He didn't do it. And the vice president right now is not a fan. Believe me, because this window of opportunity, because you have to enter the mind of people who love power. He knows that he was probably sitting there waiting for somebody to call him and tell him, now you in charge. And this never happened. Even though Trump went to sleep, he was medicated. And he's not well right now. The vice president should have been in charge as we speak. Because if you see him, because I follow him on Twitter. When I see him start tweeting with all these capital letters, I say, oh no, this is not Trump. That's COVID. That's not Trump. That was COVID tweeting with all these capital letters. And even when that other video he made, now he want everybody to think that he's such a, I wasn't sick. This was a school for me. I went to school and now I'm a graduate. I graduated as an expert on COVID. And this is going to be, in that picture, the picture that was taken in the balcony, showing from behind him. So he's going to come and say, okay, I beat COVID. I'm the Mike Tyson. I beat COVID and I'm a champ. And believe me, COVID is probably sitting there waiting for his ass. Because COVID is just as love attention. Because when you see COVID in that White House and did what COVID did in there, COVID, and still, like I said, there's more people infected. And we don't know about them. The people in the kitchen, those black people, and so many others, okay, they give us a list. And you know everybody there lies. So if you think you know how many people is infected, I got news for you. You don't. And just wait, because eventually more people, and let's hope nobody die. The people around you, the Secret Service, I salute you. I want to thank you for your service. Because you have to be there, you have to be around these people, and you know they don't care. But you have to do your job. Because we don't want anything bad to happen to him. He is our president. We would like for him to lose the election, and I'm really willing to pay for the U-Haul truck to move him out of the people's house. I just would like for him to, I don't want him to die. I don't want nothing bad to happen to him, even though he's so reckless. And that's how I feel. I want to see him. I want to see that look on his face. He may not show up in Biden inauguration. Okay? And he probably going to say, oh, I win the election. I win the debate. He always win. I win. I beat up COVID. Okay, but I would like for him and the doctors and everybody has to do their thing and to keep this man alive until the election is over. And for him, because I can't wait to see that look on their face, and the daughters, the sons, when it's over. And I would love for Letitia in New York to start handcuffing people. I want her to start locking up a lot of them for all the... I can't wait. I have to see that. And I want them to stay alive so I could see that. Attorney General of New York. Okay? With all the money that they owe, I can't wait. Okay? So, the Secret Service, please do your job, even though I know it's a very hard job right now. Because that was so negligent. That was so reckless. If I did that, I would be arrested. You imagine anybody, even President Obama, would not put these people's life in danger like that for just to go for a ride outside. And then he's telling people, don't worry about COVID. Don't let COVID take over your life, because COVID is nothing. It's just like the flu. He's still saying it.
He didn't want to put people at risk by getting into a car and driving to Walter Reed. So presumably the president will be here at the residence and he will be isolating for a period of time. One of the things that I'm interested in finding out from Dr. Sean Conley in just a couple of minutes, the president's physician, is will they follow those CDC guidelines and have the president isolate for that full 10 days? He is a patient, but he is also, Kate, impatient. He wants to be out and about. This is less than a month to the election. For months, I've heard from sources that this is a president who wants to get on the road and see people. Obviously, his diagnosis makes that absolutely impossible in any kind of responsible or safe way. But Kate, when you ask what it's like at the White House, I got to tell you, it's really quiet. That's not just because the president is not here. It's also because we now have additional White House staffers who have tested positive for COVID. That includes White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany. We learned today that she has tested positive after a series of negative